son of a bitch.
Yeah, I heard him barking.
Fucker. God damn, dude. Alright, so anyway, somebody must be here. Which I can't stand when people show up.
Show up during the show.
God damn, that fucking hurts me. But anyways, so, what I'm trying to make here, the point that I'm trying to make is, Serena was in a gimmick, okay? Basically, straight edge, no drinking, no this, no that. She continued to go out and basically live a lifestyle of going out, partying at clubs, which is not a problem, okay? But if you are in a gimmick, okay, and John Cena, there's a dress code in WWE. John Cena arrives at the arenas, he's not in a suit and tie. He lives the gimmick. He does the shorts. And that is what WWE talent is told. Remember Big Vito? Remember when Big Vito was doing the dress thing? A lot of you guys don't know this. But when he was made by WWE to travel through the airports, in the car, to live events, in a dress. So every time you saw Big Vito arrive to an event, or any time you saw Big Vito in an airport, he was in a dress.
And you know, and this is, I mean, if you really think about it, yeah, it's a gimmick, but come on, man, it's so unfair, you know what I mean? I mean, this lady, Serena, she agreed to shave her head bald. She adopted this weird-ass gimmick. I mean, what do they really want her to do in public?
But the deal, here's the point I'm trying to make, okay? And you probably know the point that I'm trying to make, but it's a matter of Big Vito had the dress gimmick. They made him live that gimmick and go out and do it, okay? Serena, in a straight-edge society gimmick, should not be out at clubs drinking beer and doing this, okay? Renee Dupree basically said, when you sign a WWE contract, you sign your soul away. And you basically have to ask them, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? And if you're in one of these gimmicks, in Serena's case, and according to sources, she had been warned. She had been warned to basically tone it down. And then I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but then paparazzi photos came out a week or two ago, which I put up on the website today, of her in Hollywood basically walking into a nightclub, and that was basically the final straw. The reason that WWE has not announced anything is because SmackDown was taped this past Wednesday and to air this Friday. So basically, you can't announce that she's been fired when she's going to appear on TV on Friday. So I would guess that Friday night at about 10 o'clock Eastern Time, after SmackDown goes off the air, we will see a release notice from WWE. And if we don't, then maybe they just feel that, you know what, the news is already out there and there's no need for us to basically announce this. But nonetheless, she's gone.
Here's something. Motor City in the chat room said, I can't have a full beard at work. You don't see me quitting. Dupree needs to shut up. So, I mean, but really, I mean, think about it, though. I mean, a regular job, you're not asked to run around acting like this crazy gimmick. You're not, pretty much they're asking you to be somebody who you're not. And this is just something I think is, you know what I mean? Okay, they have the gimmick in the ring, in the building, but I mean, how much really is it worth a job? How much is it really worth pretty much selling your soul, being somebody who you're not, somebody telling you what to do every minute of the day? I mean, there's a thing in the past, the Undertaker couldn't even go to a UFC event because of his vegetative state, you know what I mean, character that he had going on.
Dude, I agree, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that these guys have to go out and live the gimmick that they portray on national TV. But here's the deal. We all work at Walmart, Staples, wherever you guys work, state offices, whatever you do, okay? These guys are on national TV. They're becoming a celebrity. So a lot of guys are going to go and put up with that bullshit. Why? Because they're on national television on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? That's why Vito went and obviously didn't want to lose his job. Serena basically apparently didn't get the hint, didn't take the hint that, you know, you can't, and can you blame her? Can you blame her for saying that, listen, outside of WWE, I should be able to live my life. I should be able to go out to clubs. I should be able to go out with my friends and do what I want. You can't blame her for saying that.
And I mean, this is my humble opinion. I'm sure people will say, well, if you had the job in your hands, it would be a different situation.
Right.
But no way. There's not enough money in the world to have me stop being who I am and put on this whole total front everywhere I go. You know what I mean? That's fucking ridiculous. And it's just, I mean, really, in the end of the day, I think this hurts WWE more than it hurts Serena. You know what I mean? She can get a job somewhere else. She's one of the better workers in the Diva division.
Here's another thing, is people, it seems like WWE management picks and chooses. Like Daniel Bryan, they made an example out of him. Serena, they made an example out of him. But if you see a guy, let's just say The Undertaker went to an MMA event or showed up in an MMA event, okay, I mean, he wouldn't be fired. He wouldn't be suspended. They pick and choose, and they make examples out of him. And Serena is just one of these people where they are making an example out of her. And the fact is that, if your boss tells you to stop doing something, hey, it may suck, but if you want to keep your job, you got to stop doing it. And she didn't. She didn't.
Hey, and and the thing is, me personally, I can't blame her.
Well, I would say, I've never been on national television, and I'm not a celebrity, but I would say that if I had ever landed a job with WWE, I would go there and I'd do everything I was told, and I'd keep my mouth shut. Why? Because I'm on national television. 5 million people on a weekly basis are watching me, and I'm a star. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I have become a star, and WWE has given me that opportunity. But the fact is would I like to have to live my gimmick? No, of course not. But and that's not to say that Serena couldn't have gone out. I mean, why would she go out to Hollywood, okay, on Robinson Boulevard, okay? She was
definitely gotta be smarter about it. But
I mean, just invite some friends over, drink some beers in your house, invite a bunch of people over to the house, keep your job. Don't go out and live this nightlife. I don't know. I understand exactly where you're coming from, bro. I understand exactly where you're coming from. It's just,
I mean, really though, the talent, you just gotta be a little bit smarter about it. You know what I mean? Can't, like you just said, in Hollywood Boulevard, where there's gonna be cameras, people are gonna.
Well, the paparazzi's gonna be out there. You know what I mean? And then it comes out and it gets online, and then people say that she hasn't learned a lesson. She's out there and she's at one of the Hollywood hotspots with cameras all around her, and yet she's in a straight edge gimmick in WWE. So
she'd be a nice pickup for the knockout division in TNA. Like I said, she's pretty good in the ring.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So that's the Serena deal. I would expect an announcement probably later this week after SmackDown airs on Friday night. What else? Scott Hall. We're going to talk about Scott Hall and the rehab story.
Sounds like a plan. What's the latest going on with that?
There really is no latest. We've, over the past few weeks, we've set up, basically, Hall's management team, Hall's agents, whoever sends his press stuff out, has basically said he's been hospitalized and he's had a bad case of double pneumonia. And from the start, we had said here on WZR Radio, I put it on the websites as well, he's in rehab, and that's all there is to it. I don't know what he's in rehab for. Obviously substance abuse, but it's just, DJ Big, that's not cool. Mitch, that's not cool.
Oh, damn.
No, don't call somebody a drug addict. I mean, he's a drug addict, but a guy that's a drug addict and is taking the steps to correct himself,
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He could have rejected when Dixie Carter sat down with him. He could have said, "No, I don't need help. I don't want help." But instead, he offered to do it. He offered to go to rehab.
Right. Well, what happened is he went to rehab. The first story that came out was that he had double pneumonia, and he went to rehab for that. Got out of rehab, and then apparently had a probation violation in the last few weeks. And then, with the probation violation, he was basically ordered by the courts to go to rehab again. So it was a case of went into rehab, got out, violated probation, back to rehab, mandatory.
Yeah. A lot of people just don't, a lot of people say, it keeps, this is like obviously this alcoholism by him has been going on for a long time, but that doesn't change the fact that you want the guy. Oh yeah, that you want the guy to get better though, that doesn't change the fact that, you want the guy to do better, you want him to get off, you want him to be clean, you want him to,
bro, we've talked about it here. He is a fucking genius. He is a genius backstage as far as I mean, creative. I mean, the guy. I mean, as far as even if TNA was to take him as an agent or it's just. I mean, hopefully he can get his life turned around. But he's been to rehab so many times. You know what I mean? And every time he gets out and he relapses. So it's just a case of, the guy's got problems. But he's taking the steps to get it right. Well, not right now. I mean, right now he's in mandatory rehab.
Yeah. But, and like you just said, though, he's such a genius backstage, Even, I bet you, when him and, when the Wolfpack were in TNA, if they would have came out with a T-shirt, they could probably still have the T-shirt, and I bet you they'd sell the hell out of that T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guy, like I said, I think if he can get his life, straightened out and get it back together, I think we'll end up seeing him back in TNA in at least a backstage type of role.
I'll tell you what, when he gets out of rehab, he's got a job in TNA waiting for him. He's got a job in TNA waiting for him. Dixie already said that on Twitter, that basically, Scott, go get some help, and then we look forward to seeing you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said this last week too, and even Hogan said on his tour with his friends that, he goes, this Wolfpack thing's still over. He goes, Scott Hall is welcome back whenever he gets his life together.
Oh yeah, it's great that he's taking the steps to correct it. I mean, the first time he went to rehab was, he was fine, and then got out, and then the probation thing, and now he's in mandatory rehab. So maybe that's better that he's in mandatory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we can't get out. So that's the Scott.
Yeah, well, Scotty.
Vince McMahon turned 65 years old today, my man.
Woo. Vinnie Mac, baby.
Vinnie Mac turning 65 today, and I put it up on the websites. I'm telling you, if you run into Vince McMahon, don't wish that motherfucker happy birthday.
And do not sneeze.
Don't sneeze. Do not sneeze.
A lot of people can say Vince McMahon's a genius, and you know what? I mean, it shows because he has a very successful company and everything like that. But the man has some of the weirdest habits, some of just the weirdest things that he does.
He's a control freak. Okay, did you guys? Okay, last week I posted. It was about an hour and a half long, and it was Paul Heyman. How many of you guys in the chat room sat through that entire thing? The entire hour and a half. Be honest. Be real with me in the chat.
Not me.
No?
I didn't even sit through it all. I didn't even have a chance. A bunch of people are saying they watched the entire thing.
That is awesome. Okay. Go watch that, dude. Go watch it. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome, man. Listen, Paul Heyman, I'll give it to him. The dude is a genius, all right? He's a genius, but he's got his own... he's great. He's just go watch that. Some of the story about Vince McMahon, where basically he says, if you're ever in a room with Vince and he sneezes, don't talk to him for like 20 minutes because he can't control the sneeze. So if Vince sneezes and he can't control it, he gets real pissed off and doesn't want anybody. Just stay the fuck away from him if he sneezes because he can't control it. And same thing with the age. Hates getting
older. He's getting older.
Yeah, and he can't control that he's aging.
How crazy is that, though? You know what I mean? Like, that is fucking nuts.
He's in his own bubble, bro. It's like my mother, man. It's like my mother. They're in their own bubble. It's like they're in their own bubble, and you can't pop that